The Verdict, a Sidebar production, hosted by Kent Myers and Mick Cornett. As a part of its traditional and continuing commitment to public and community service, Crowell & Dunlevy sponsors The Verdict. Also sponsored by Delta Dental, Oklahoma Lawyers for Children, and C.H. Guernsey & Company. Each week on The Verdict, we present an objective discussion of contemporary and legal issues, topical issues that will affect Oklahomans in their daily lives. The Verdict, a Sidebar production.
And welcome to The Verdict. I'm Mick Cornett. It's time once again to discuss some of Oklahoma's most pertinent issues. And as always, I am joined by one of Oklahoma's top legal experts, Kent Myers. Kent, good to see you again.
Glad to see you again. Glad to be back on the Verdict. We're going to have Governor Keating back with us. Today we're going to take a little different focus than we did last week with the governor. We're going to be looking at his 8-year governorship. We're going to be looking back at some disappointments he's had, some surprises he's had. We're going to be talking about such things as tax reform, right to work, redistricting, a number of things that have come up during his tenure. We're going to look at his leadership style a little bit and talk to him about how that has worked in some cases and perhaps not worked in others. The governor has had 8 years of very, very active governor duties. He's been pushed and pulled and constantly in the headlines, and most would say he's performed quite admirably. He certainly has his detractors, but he has a legion of supporters as well. It will be interesting to see how he assesses his 8 years rather than how the pundits and the reporters assess it, and I think his insights will be very interesting to our viewers. We hope so. We're just glad our viewers are back with us again this week.
Let's take a break and get right back. The governor of Oklahoma, Frank Keating, joining us here on The Verdict when we return.
The Journal-Record is pleased to be a sponsor of The Verdict. The Journal-Record, since 1903, the best source of Oklahoma business news and legal information.
The Verdict is pleased to have as a sponsor C.H. Guernsey & Company, providing architectural and engineering services to clients throughout the U.S. and around the world.
And Blankenship has stopped at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. Leaving it 4th and 7 on the Tiger 46-yard line. 38 seconds on the clock. The Tigers have no choice but to go for it. Wiggins had to do the kicking. Here's the snap. And the kick is away.
We are C.H. Guernsey & Company. We provide engineering, architecture, and consulting services to clients across the nation and around the world. Our corporate headquarters are located in Oklahoma City, and we have branch offices across the country, including Tulsa. We have provided quality service to clients for nearly 75 years. At Guernsey, we believe in quality work and unconditional client satisfaction. To learn more about C.H. Guernsey & Company, log on to our website at chguernsey.com.
St. Gregory's University has been changing the lives of people like me for 125 years. Affordable, private Catholic education, balanced with dedication to community and service, makes St. Gregory special. We're extremely proud of our students' outstanding academic achievements and our nationally ranked athletic teams. It's when you help a student build a future of balance, integrity, and service that you change a life forever. St. Gregory's, a community for life.
In Oklahoma, there are more than 1,600 children waiting to be adopted. They're of all ages, and for many, home has been a source of pain and conflict. They've dreamed of finding a better life and a loving family. Consider adoption. For more information, call 1-877-OK-SWIFT or visit the website www.okdhs.org. Adopt. It may be the toughest job you'll ever love.
Welcome back to The Verdict. Glad you're with us. Mick Cornett with Kent Myers, and we welcome back the governor.
Yes, we do. Governor Keating, thank you for coming back. I want to tell our viewers just a couple of things about you that they may or may not know. First of all, you have served 7.5 years of an 8-year term. You have 6 months remaining. And on The Verdict here, we think it's time to reflect a little bit. We want to reflect back. We want to talk about some current things, and we want to talk about or prophesy the future a little bit. For our viewers, you're the only Republican ever to be reelected back-to-back to the governor's office, and as a matter of fact, to some people's surprise, there have only been 2 people elected back-to-back to the governor's office, and you're one of them. In our reflective mode today, Governor, I know there have been things happen that have disappointed you. I'd like for you to discuss, at least initially with the viewers, some of your disappointments, some of your unachieved goals that you'd like to, if you had to do all over again, you might like to see the outcome different. What occurs to you in that regard?
You know something, Kent? That's hard for me to say because I know I've been disappointed. I've won some battles and lost some battles, but the governor is like the Wizard of Oz. I mean, there's not a whole lot of power there. There's a lot of smoke and a lot of fire. So to the extent that I can make people feel better about themselves, make Oklahomans feel better about themselves, keep pushing this growth and prosperity and change and reform and good citizenship agenda forward, I want to do that. And we privatized prisons and dramatically reduced the crime rate, and we passed right to work, and with your great legal skills, and we won in the appellate court. At the district court level in Muskogee, the welfare rolls have been reduced by 80%. The schools are tougher. We have charter school and choice. We've embarked on the largest road building program ever in Oklahoma history. We have focused on clean water and clean air. We have the toughest swine regulation and the first in the nation poultry regulation bills anywhere. I mean, this took bipartisanship. I vetoed 302 bills, which is a record probably many times over, all sustained. But disappointment lasts for about 4 minutes.
Is that over the 8 years?
Yes.
Yes.
Disappointment lasts for a short time with me. I'm not through yet. I'm still going to try to get the income tax reduced from 7 to 3.2% or so, maybe get an initiative petition going. So I'm very pleased, like the dome. I mean, putting the dome on the Capitol building, cleaning up North Lincoln, building a museum across from the mansion, doing a lot of those things was important. I know that a lot of people say, what's the deal with the dome? It's the completion of America's last Capitol building to be completed. And the $21 million cost, $20 million was raised privately. So, I mean, these are things I'm very proud of. And the disappointments, an occasional stub toe where I didn't get what I wanted, I mean, I don't even think about it.
Yeah. Let me ask you about tax reform. I know you had a joint citizens legislative task force or committee to look at tax reform this year, and they came through with a proposal that I think many were enthusiastic about, but it didn't make it out of the legislature. It didn't make it to your desk. I saw a publication from the State Chamber just this last week, the State Chamber of Commerce being made up of many business leaders in the state, and almost trumpeting the fact that they had single-handedly stopped the tax reform proposal from passing. How do you feel about that?
Well, the State Chamber is a great organization that helped us mightily in workers' comp reform,
and
right to work, and things of that nature. The problem is that they do have many different venues to cover and many masters to serve. For example, if you go to a service sales tax for a lot of small businesses, wait a minute, we're moving taxes from from individuals to business. If you go to a gross receipts tax, wait a minute, we're going to move tax from individuals to business. Well, I think everybody agrees, being 12th highest in the nation in cost, and that's what our income tax is, and the highest in the region is too much. When you have a small business to sell, why not go to Texas and sell it for 0%? Why pay the state of Oklahoma 7%? If you are a retiree, why not go to Texas and have 7% more in your pocket than remaining in Oklahoma and have to pay that 7%? These are serious growth challenges. We need more taxpayers. We're the only state west of the Mississippi to be losing a congressman, and that's been my push. So, yeah, I got to find some way to get the Chamber of Commerce, the school teachers, everybody together for the purpose of focusing on taxes on consumption, no taxes on income and savings and investment. that's what you ought to do, but it's going to be tough. I think if we perhaps raise the sales tax, regular sales tax, a couple points, and reduce the income tax down to 3.2% or something, I think we could accomplish nearly the same goal.
Let me address something you just mentioned, school teachers. My memory is that in your administration, you were able to secure a tax raise. I mean, a pay raise, not a tax
The
raise.
largest ever for school teachers.
For school teachers. I mean, how did that come about? And that seems to be a laudable thing for the school teachers.
Well, I think everybody knows that you get what you pay for. And if you pay very low wages for school teachers, frequently you're going to get very low wage people. The better pay, generally speaking, the higher quality, the more competent. Look at colleges and universities. They pay decent wages. They get really, in those cases, pretty gifted educators. So we need to have more money to give more salary to better qualified, better educated teachers. The problem is severalfold. First, we produce too many teachers. We have 21 teacher colleges, so it's only natural we'll export a lot of teachers. Secondly, most of them are elementary school teachers we're educating. We need science and math and special education teachers. We need more of those. Thirdly, we need more taxpayers making more money so we can raise salaries. And, of course, fourthly, we need to make sure we keep the competent and we get rid of the incompetent. So this is where a lot of give and take is needed in the next legislative session to get rid of the incompetent, to get better quality and better qualified people.
About 30 seconds left in the segment.
In 30 seconds, what do you think right to work will ultimately mean to Oklahoma?
Well, Bob Doffenbach, the University of Oklahoma economist, said that single-handedly right to work will turn the economy around. And I think that's true. We're in a soft national economy, but right to work will bring us, I think, real manufacturing growth. We need headquarters, and headquarters will come because of the tax code.
Specific examples coming?
Well, Dollar Tree and just across the line, came from right across the line into Walters, Oklahoma, and I clipped the ribbon. We announced that one. We have several in northeast Oklahoma that are in the oven right now that are solely the result of right to work. The company said we would not have looked at you but for right to work.
Let me jump in and get us to a break, so hold that thought. You're watching The Verdict. Mick Cornett and Kent Myers talking with the Governor of Oklahoma, Frank Keating. We'll be right back.
All children deserve a life of hope and love. But sometimes they experience a life of pain, neglect, and abuse.
When that happens, each child deserves all of the quality assistance and representation that can be offered in our legal system. Oklahoma Lawyers for Children has over 350 of the best attorneys and volunteers in Oklahoma County who donate their time and services to represent children. For more information, call 405-23-CHILD.
Oklahoma Lawyers for Children, helping to bring hope and love back to the lives of abused children.
Bringing out the best in each student. That is the simple goal and tradition of Heritage Hall. The focus on the individual shapes the educational experience at Heritage Hall. Each student benefits from small classes, able, dedicated teachers, a solid academic curriculum, and exceptional co-curricular programs of athletics, arts, community service, and other activities, parental involvement, personalized counseling, and the development of responsibility, integrity, and love of learning. If you want education taught with pride, then you want Heritage Hall.
When these kids get to play ball, their heart is there. They're so excited. And they just get to feel like regular kids. What Rotary has made possible with this special field has been just a miracle for us.
Rotary gives people an opportunity to help.
And welcome back to The Verdict. Mick Cornett with Kent Myers. We're resuming our conversation with the governor. Kent?
We've been talking about the economic situation in Oklahoma, right to work, new jobs. Let's focus on new jobs. I know that one of the priorities of your administration has been job creation. How has that come out?
Well, we've done well. Matter of fact, we've done extraordinarily well. We've created 200,000 jobs in 7.5 years. But the thing that really is important is we've moved up on the per capita income scale. That's important. We were 45th in per capita income of 50 states. We're 40th now, nearly about 39th. Now that is movement. That means our people are making more money. That's healthy. That means our kids stay at home, our grandkids stay at home, and it means people come back. So all of the things I've been trying to do have been focused on reducing artificial barriers to growth, reducing taxes, all the things that will increase per capita income. And I hope that whoever follows me, and of course I'm a proud Steve Largent, Republican, I must confess, but whether it's Gary or Steve or the Democrat, and we don't know who that might be, hopefully they'll focus on per capita income.
We have been focusing on these last two shows on what's gone on in your life as governor, both in the past and currently. Let's talk about the future a little bit. I want to talk about 4 specific future situations for you. Let's get to the one of the most immediate. You're going to change jobs in January and become president and CEO of the American Council of Life Insurers. What does that job entail?
That is the CEO, the spokesman, the lobbyist, if you will, for the life insurance, financial security industry in the United States. There are about 415 companies that are members of ACLI. The role is an important role. I happen to think Americans don't save enough money. And because of the stock market decline, there's wonderful opportunity for annuities, for life insurance, for life and annuity type products. And the life insurance industry today, and I'm talking about from Prudential, New York Life on down in size, Money, Mutual of Omaha, those kind of companies that are members of the ACLI family, there is a real message there about longer we live, the more security we need for ourselves in our old age, ourselves to educate children, ourselves to help educate my grandkids, for example. It would be fun to be able to help put them through college as my mother-in-law was able to help us put our kids through college. So that's the idea, and mercifully I'll earn a little bit of money. I have a 4-year contract, and then I'm coming back to Oklahoma because I just love Oklahoma.
So you're looking at it as a 4-year term?
Well, it's a 4-year term, and if they add another couple of years to it to let me save a little bit more money, I might consider doing it. But Kathy and I love Oklahoma, and she made it very clear that we were returning and returning soon.
After that, any future political plans?
I don't have any. I mean, would I run for office someday? Perhaps. Would I consider serving in an administration? Perhaps. The Bush administration asked me to consider a position that I didn't. I mean, no, I'm just not interested. I want to finish my term. So might I, if George Bush is reelected? Perhaps. But right now, I really need to take care of my own financial security and something that I think the ACLI opportunity will provide me.
In the very, very, very near term, maybe just about the time this show airs, you're going to be a grandfather for the first time.
Numero uno. And
yes.
I am a child at heart. Really, I'm about 6. And my wife used to say that I was the Disneyland dad, which is true. I mean, I took the kids to Disneyland and Disney World 6 times. I mean, I was always jetting off for some trip. And Carrie, our daughter, who is with Crow and Dunleavy, and her husband, Ryan, who is an assistant DA, both of them are lawyers, are expecting their first child, our first grandchild. We don't know what it is, boy or girl, but the child will be born about the time, I guess, that this show is airing, which I'm excited.
Yes, I wish you'd worn
I'll be
your shirt.
watching it, though. I want you to know.
You didn't wear your shirt.
Yeah, it is world's greatest grandfather. That's what Carrie gave me.
Governor, I want to interject and ask you about your style and your outspokenness. Politically, you've not taken the safe road several times, and I'm sure that was on purpose. You've said things knowing they were going to be repeated, knowing they were going to be in the paper, and a lot of times they made people's jaw dropped. Why did you choose that style?
That's just the way I am. I mean, I've never gratuitously tried to hurt anybody, but I love language, and I think I love to have a good laugh. And sometimes I use language to make a point. For example, I said that methamphetamine was a white trash drug. Well, now, if methamphetamine users are offended and they think that they're being dragged down because they're being accused of being white trash, maybe that's good. And then they'll get out of the basement. Same thing with crack cocaine as a black trash drug. If some cocaine users are offended, that's good. Maybe they'll crawl out of the basement. So some of it is for the purpose of trying to make people better, change behavior. but some of it is just misunderstood humor. A lot of, you know, when you read the newspaper, you don't see the humor. And but I've never tried to gratuitously hurt anybody, and I wouldn't.
I want to change the subject a little bit to another future event in your life. I want to show a graphic. I'll hand you the graphic.
Oh.
Of a Will Rogers book that you've
Yes.
written. And I have labeled that graphic a children's book. It may or may not be, but it has been written by you. It's due for publication in September, I understand.
Actually, August 15th. Well, I love kids. Like I said, I am about 6. And this is a book that I researched myself and wrote myself. You have to say that in politics. Everybody assumes you had it ghostwritten. By Harcourt Brace. Harcourt in New York is publishing it. Publishers Weekly has given it very, very fine reviews. Mike Wimmer from Norman is the artist. That's one of Mike's paintings. That all these paintings were original for the book. Our book tour, we announce the book. Its publication date is August 15th. We'll have it announced at Oologah, Claremore. Then we have a New York book signing and a Los Angeles opening at the same time. But they are so excited about Mike's and my contribution. About 2 months ago, they said, we have to have another book, you know, as quickly as you can get it, on Teddy Roosevelt, who, by the way, was president when we became a state. So and
plain spoken.
And plain spoken. And I researched Roosevelt, 2,500 pages of research, lots of material, and I, yesterday, as a matter of fact, completed the first draft and sent it to New York. And that is for 9 to 11-year-olds, so I'm still a kid.
Do you have a favorite Will Rogers quote?
I think one of the cutest, and it's not in the book, one of the cutest, he was, the Will Rogers Hotel in Claremore, if you go over there, is the Will Rogers Hotel. It's now a senior citizen center. But they named the hotel in Claremore after native son Will Rogers when he was living. And they asked him, the reporter said, Mr. Rogers, Claremore, your hometown, named the hotel in town after you. What do you think? And he said, I'm just thrilled. He said, now, show you how quick he was. He said, now I know how Christopher Columbus felt when they named that town in Ohio after him. He was really great.
Let's give him a chance to do something he doesn't get to do very often.
A minute and a half, television time, to say whatever you'd like to the people in Oklahoma.
You're talking to people all over the state. What do you want to say?
Well, we're sitting here, we can't tell which camera's on or off, but I'll just say this, that I made a decision, and you'll appreciate this, lawyer. I was with a big law firm in D.C., and I walked down the hall to my office, and I noticed all the name tags, and all the doors, the nameplates, were removable. And I thought, you know, I'm mortal, but I'm not that mortal, and I want to make some contribution of significance. I love law practice, to go back to law practice, do other work, but I want to take out some years of my life to really turn Oklahoma into the wind, make my home state a significant prosperity center. And I think we've made enormous progress. I've gone through the things that I think we've accomplished, and didn't add tort reform. That was a big deal if we can get the tax deal done. The feeling that people have after April 19, 1995, that Oklahoma is a special place, these are all historical events that I've been involved with. And we Oklahomans tend to have our daubers down a lot. You know, well, the Dust Bowl, the oil bust. There is not a grander land anywhere. The people are superb. The goodness, the kindness, the sharing, the caring, the charity of the people of Oklahoma is quite remarkable, legendary, if you will. And I think we need to appreciate what a wonderful place we live in. Oklahoma City's renaissance, for example, Mick, and you're on the city council, is amazing in the last 6 or 7 years. It's a significant regional city with wonderful public and private leadership. I'm trying to goose my hometown of Tulsa to try to do similarly. But we have a great state. I think I have participated. You know, we haven't had any scandal in the 8 years I've been governor. I brought together, appointed probably 3,200 of the best people, the boards and commissions. No scandal there. Probably 40% were Democrats, so it was a bipartisan agenda to get good men and women willing to serve in public life, contribute mightily to the health of our state. That's what I think I've done, and I have loved every minute of it.
Thanks for appearing on The Verdict.
Thank you.
Thank you, Governor.
Kent and I'll be back with a few final words after this.
Every day, in state governments throughout the country, crucial decisions are being made that affect the lives of children and their families. But as this process takes place, children are often left voiceless. When these children raise their hands to be heard, is anyone listening? There are people listening. They are child advocates. Join us and raise your hand for kids.
Boy Scouts of America, where above all else, character counts.
I enrich our cultural landscape.
I help define our quality of life.
I am one of 4,000 artists in central Oklahoma who receive
support from Allied Arts, this community's united arts organization.
I am an allied artist.
We are wrapping up another edition of The Verdict. Mick Cornett with Kent Myers. What's some final thoughts here as we wrap up our 2 visits from the governor?
I thought about saying we've had 2 very personal shows with the governor, but I think that's redundant. I don't know that you can sit and visit with Frank Keating very long without it being personal and cordial and warm. I just don't think he can be any other way than he is naturally. And he combines that kind of warmth with an energy and a leadership style that has served him well, has served the citizens of the state of Oklahoma well. Let's put it in perspective. He has operated really in a 2-party system to the hilt.
Right. Well, we talk a lot about a 2-party system,
but we really have one in Oklahoma now. That hasn't always been the case, of course, and there are some that would say we're moving back to a 1-party system, Republican instead of Democrat. But be that as it may, it is very interesting to see that he has vetoed over 300 bills and not one veto has been overturned by the legislature. So his leadership style, his ability to govern is something that has served the state well, and I'm sure we'll have a good governor that follows, whomever that may be. But through the Murrah building, through the 1999 May tornado, through a number of very bad instances, he has served the citizens well and certainly earned his pay.
Before we get out of here, I want to remind people about our website.
Good.
You can reach us on the web at www.theverdict.tv, not .com or .org, but .tv. Check us out. There's an opportunity in there for you to suggest some future shows, and we'd love to have your input. Thanks again to Governor Frank Keating for coming by. For Kent Myers, I'm Mick Cornett. We'll see you next time on The Verdict.